Hey guys, it's me, Sujoy, over here. So today I'm going to be making this special video. Uh, Primarily, this video is going to be focused for my Vietnamese audience. Um, this is regarding an article which I read yesterday on VN Express. Um, And what really disturbed me were a couple of these comments, which were very disturbing and sickening for me to read. And these comments were primarily targeting my country. So if you don't know where I come from, I'm coming from India, okay, and I have been living here in Vietnam for 5 years. So yes, I'm an Ando. Um, I really didn't wanted to make this video because this is a tragic moment, and especially I want to talk about this article um, where I think most of you now know that there has been a national tragedy back home in my country regarding the train accident where nearly 280 people, my countrymen, have lost their lives. Um, I checked up VN Express regarding the articles, and yes, to a certain extent, I do understand Vietnamese, and sometimes I have to use Google Translate to understand. Because my first go-to news resource is Vietnam news, but I also, sometimes check out news from VN Express from time to time, and I read this article regarding the train tragedy in my country where 280 people have actually lost their lives. And investigation is still going on, and rest assured, services are back to operation, and there's a thorough investigation going on right now, and we will soon find out what the real cause of the problem was. Rest assured, this mishap will never happen again. But what really disturbed me were a few of the comments because I really wanted to know how the Vietnamese people feel about this tragedy. Um, and I would say most of them, like 80% of the people who commented on this article, on this specific article, were genuine condolences, okay, and they really felt bad for this, and I'm really grateful and appreciated for that. As an Indian, I really appreciate that you really feel bad for this tragedy, and trust me, I also feel very bad for this tragedy. It's been looming in my mind for a couple of days now, and really, it's like a big tragedy in my country, in India. Okay, but what really disturbed me are a few of these comments. So I've actually documented a few of these comments from this article, and later I'm going to justify why these comments are baseless, why they don't have any meanings, and it shows that some of the Vietnamese people are so racist towards India. And they think India is a garbage. They think India is very poor. They think India is a beggar. Their mind is like 100 years back. They have not moved on. They're not aware with the global situation. They don't know anything. And I'm going to back it up with the article. And I felt as being a citizen of my country, being a citizen of India, it's my moral obligation to let those people know how wrong they are. And I really hope that, if somebody from the Indian embassy here in Vietnam is also watching this video, should also look into into consideration. I'm going to leave a link of that Google Drive with those comments, hateful comments, and I just want to say how bad it is. Instead of feeling sorry for the situation, instead of giving your own condolences, you're sticking these people. some of these Vietnamese people who have commented on this article, they're talking purely from a racist point of view. They're just trying to portray, it's so sad, and sometimes, I don't care if you're a China lover, I don't care if you're a propaganda machine, but I'm going to read it out, and I'm going to read it out with the names of these users, okay? And I just want to also let you know that, living here for 5 years, I've also gone through, like what the Vietnamese media talk about India. I'm really sorry to say that not all the time the Vietnamese media, I mean, most of the time, the media here in Vietnam, they always try to talk about India in a negative way. Okay. Like if some disaster is happening or they try to pick up some fucking crimes happening in India here and there, and they'll make it big news in Vietnam. But I fail to understand that the Vietnamese media over here, irrespective, it's VN Express, WeTV, NTV, or HTV, I don't know what it is. They're not, they don't try to talk much about India, the India being a fast economy, how India and Vietnam can complement each other. It's just most of them are like focused on the poverty, the drawbacks. They take some small crimes here and there and they just put it all over the news. So you're kind of damaging the relationship, the bilateral relationship. It's not working out. You know what I mean? So, and also a couple of these Vietnamese YouTubers, they go to India and they specifically go to the slums, the villages of India, and they try to show that, oh, this is only India. India is dirty, India is garbage, India is this. They don't show the business side of India. They don't show the modern buildings, the big infrastructures, IT cities. They just specifically go to India to focus on the dirty parts of India. Okay, they go to the slums, they go to the villages, and my request to the Ministry of India, and my request, if these kind of YouTubers from Vietnam are just coming to just take videos of India in a negative way, and just showing that India is dirty, garbage, these slums, crime, and all that, they should not be allowed to come in my country. They should not be allowed to come in my country. They should be deported back to Vietnam. Okay, because my responsibility over here in Vietnam is to connect a relationship. Okay, I don't go out and talk about corruption of Vietnam. I don't talk about the politics of Vietnam. I don't talk about the freedom of speech here in Vietnam. Okay, so I know what I need to post. Okay, I try to post from my personal experience, but it's really sad that a couple of these YouTubers from Vietnam, they're going, these Vietnamese YouTubers, they're going to the dirty parts of India, taking videos, and then they're putting thumbnails, India is scary, or something like, oh my God, why are they coming in my country? Ban them, deport them, or, if, or just put a fine on them or slap a fine on them, okay? That bothers me, being a citizen of my country. Okay, that bothers me, and especially I've been living here for 5 years, and it's just kind of personal for me. Okay, all right. So now let's get back to these comments. Okay, so I'm going to post that link on that Google Drive, which I'm going to share down in the description below. The first comment, so a couple of these comments which I took out, the hateful comment, the username Tran Hung. Okay, Tran Hung, she got 88 likes. Okay, or Chang Han, I don't know how you pronounce that. Now this translated from Vietnamese to English. Okay, India is a country with a poor population and backwardness. Compared to China, India is far behind. Okay, and India is a backward country. I don't agree with you at all, and I'm going to justify that with you. Okay, with the facts and the statistics. Okay, With poor population. Oh, so you're saying everybody in India is poor? Yes, there are poor people in India, and there is a huge concentration of middle class people in India who drive a lot of cars. And they're super rich. They're rich and they're super rich. Where in front of my house, where I stay in a small city in India, it's common to see a lot of Mercedes, BMWs, the new models, Jaguars, SUVs. There are more cars in India compared to Vietnam. Okay, I never saw such kind of, horrible traffic of two wheelers in Vietnam back home in my country. Okay, so I'm going to justify that. Okay, so somebody replied to her and to Chang Hung and said, this other person, exactly, my friend, India is too lagging behind China. Okay, all right. So, all right, I understand that India has got to do catching up with China, but don't compare India with Vietnam. Okay, India is far more economically stronger. Okay, is much bigger. Okay, in also in terms of defense. So, okay, I'm not going to compare it with China, but don't compare India with Vietnam because India is in altogether in a different level. Okay. So, anyways, maybe you're a Chinese lover. I don't know. The second user, the name is Kim Hang Yugen 6262, 13 likes. Okay. India is still very poor. The train is the cheapest. So watching the scene of people crammed in the car on the roof, swinging the train door is extremely terrifying. Okay. Um, Again, India is still very poor. Yes, I told you there are poor people in India, but there are a lot of people in India who are middle class, okay? And you don't compare the volume with that with Vietnam. Vietnam's middle class population is very less, okay? And the number of rich people and super rich people in India is far, far more compared to Vietnam, okay? So don't compare that, okay? India's economy is much bigger than Thailand's. India's economy is much bigger than Malaysia's. India's economy is much bigger than Singapore. Then why are you trying to fuck yourself up, okay, by doing a comparison and saying India is a very poor country? Know your status, okay? Know from where what you're speaking, okay, what you're talking, okay? The other user, okay, Thai Bin, okay, 12 likes. India is already the most populous country in the world, which I agree. It's not right now the number one most populated country in the planet. But their development is still not good. The population is not necessarily not good. Wrong. Wrong. Okay. The strength of a nation comes from its population. How do you think China is a very big economy and is like a superpower? Is going to overtake United States? It's because of the population, you dumb dumb. Okay, population is the strength. Okay, the population. Look at the number of look the population is the main driving force for a stronger economy. Okay, say for example, even if you take the military, the army. Okay, India's got the highest number of soldiers in the world. Okay, state of the art air force we have. Okay, we fly fifth generation fighter planes. Okay, we have metros in all the major cities across India and even in smaller cities where I'm coming from. Okay, we have high speed trains which are state of the art. Okay, which is called as the one day Bharat Express. Okay, that we're coming up with the bullet trains, okay, which is going to be launched in another 3 years time. Okay, we're cooperating with that with Japan. Okay, a lot of things advances. Okay, we have fucking Apple Store back in Mumbai. Okay, launched by Tim Cook himself, who came and he's planning to open more Apple stores back in India. Okay, we have more Mercedes new models compared to Vietnam, which doesn't have. We have more Jaguars. We have more BMWs. Jaguar car is now owned by India, and a lot of different things. This the fucking CEO of Google is from India. Okay, so I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. The last user is okay. So this is like a kind of a lightish comment. This from Duk Lu. Okay, 19 likes. Okay. See, analysts that that India will overtake the U.S. in 2050 to become the world's second economy, largest economy. But in my opinion, in 100 years, it won't be able to surpass US and China. Okay, so that's what I said. Now, when I talk about the racist mindsets, okay, there are many Vietnamese, sadly, here in Vietnam who think India is just very poor and will always be very poor. They don't care if India is globally very much recognized now. They don't care, India is more developed in terms of more developed compared to like in term has a bigger economy compared to Vietnam, is more globalized compared to Vietnam, is having a stronger export and manufacturing compared to Vietnam, has more technology and IT software advancements compared to Vietnam. They don't care about that. These racist Vietnamese people are either China lovers, or they just want to put a single mindset that India is only for yoga and India is only curry and just football. Okay, India versus Vietnam. Vietnam definitely. I love Vietnam football team. I believe they're the best. But as an Indian, I also believe the Indian football team is catching up very fast. And I would not be very surprised if India will win the football match versus Vietnam if it happens. They're catching up. They're strong. Okay, so now let's get to the statistics. Okay, now I'm going to give you the links which you can look into. Okay, so because you're Vietnamese, you're watching this video, and forgive me if this video is becoming a bit longer, but it is my moral obligation as an Indian, okay, to justify what's not right. Okay, so let's go to this worlddata.info. Okay, India versus Vietnam. Okay, so I'm reading it from my laptop. Okay, all the statistics. Okay, let's go to, yes, our population is number one right now globally, but that doesn't mean that all of us are poor. Okay, we are rich, super rich, and we have a higher concentration of middle class people who have a lot of money and who drive all four-wheeler cars. Okay, we don't drive two-wheelers all the time. Okay, um, let's look at the economy. Okay, let's look at the gross domestic product, okay, of India. Okay, so I'm going to talk about per thousand. Okay, that's so it's 3 million 176 295 million in US dollars. Okay, whereas compared to Vietnam, the gross domestic product is 366 138 million. 138 million. Okay, so we are already in 3 million. Okay, gross national product, okay, is again for India is 3,424 million US dollars. Okay, Vietnam is 350,209 million US dollars. Okay, exported goods. Okay, this is the 2023 data. Okay, exported goods 643 uh, thousand million. Okay, Vietnam is 339 something. Okay, let's talk about, okay, let's talk because somebody commented India's got very bad infrastructure, right? Okay, let's talk about the roadways. Okay, for India it's 6,371,847 kilometers, okay, in total. Okay, whereas Vietnam is only 195,468 kilometers. Okay, talk about railway. Yes, we're the largest railway network in the world. Not the second, not the third, but the first. Okay. Railways 68,155 kilometers railway network. Okay. Vietnam is just 2,481 kilometers. Okay. Um, I'm not going to talk about energy, telecommunications. That's irrelevant. Okay. Um, let's go to the other link. Okay, so which I can explain. Let's talk about the budget. Okay, this is 2023. What is the budget? So India is ranking 23rd. Okay, which is four times more than Vietnam. Okay, so India's budget is 172 million. Sorry, 172 billion dollars. Okay, Vietnam's budget is only 38.89 billion dollars. Okay, and Vietnam ranks 58. Okay, let's talk about, not talking about the depth, or 'cause I don't want to get into the details. Okay, let's talk about the export in billions. Okay, so and the export for India is 301.90 billion dollars, which is three times more than Vietnam, and India ranks 19th globally when it comes to exports. Vietnamese export ranks 35th globally, and they have an export of 114.60 billion dollars. Okay, let's talk about GDP. The GDP of India is 1.84 trillion dollars, which is ranking 11th in the world globally, 13 times more than Vietnam. Okay, whereas the GDP for Vietnam is 141.67 billion dollars, which is ranking 131, which is ranking 130th position or something. Okay, so I can go on and on with this. Okay, I can really go on and on with this. Okay, the last one. Okay, let's talk about the passport strength of India and Vietnam. Okay, so this is from Passport Index. Okay, the Indian passport is stronger than the Vietnamese passport. Okay, whenever I travel, when they look at Indian passport, not in Vietnam, but like if I'm going to Thailand or other countries, it is more recognizable. Okay, so let's look at the Indian. Let's look at India over here, right? So India is ranking 69th is the passport power ranking, okay, of India globally. Um, and if I look at Vietnam, Vietnam passport ranks 71, okay, the power rank index, okay. But still, at the end of the day, the Indian passport is more powerful than the Vietnam passport, okay. I don't care you got a blue Vietnam passport or a green Vietnam passport, but the Indian passport is more powerful than the Vietnam passport. I'm not here to compare between India and Vietnam, but my friends, I was forced to make this video after watching these disturbing comments from these users for this article from VN Express. So to those users out there, I just want to say, shut your fucking mouth. You have never been to India, okay? You are always here in Vietnam. You have never seen India. You have never been to India physically. Sitting on your sofa or on your iPhone and writing crap is not going to help you, okay? So stop being a fucking lowlife, okay? And yes, I need a fucking public apology with a box of chocolates, okay? Because as an Indian, I'm definitely very hurt about this because this was a national tragedy. And some of these shameless Vietnamese, they took advantage of this and try to just talk negative about India to just highlight that India is very poor, India is shit, garbage, and I hope these people are taken accountable for. Okay, I need a public apology as an Indian here in Vietnam with a box of chocolates. It's really sad. So that's all I need to say. Because if you have not been to India, don't judge it. Okay, you've never been to India. Sitting on your computer as a keyboard warrior or on your iPhone or just on your sofa and writing crap about something is not going to help you. Okay, I've been living in Vietnam for 5 years. I have experienced Vietnam more than other foreigners have. Okay. So I know what I talk about. Okay. And I talk about from my personal experience. Okay. So that's all I got to say. And, I just want to cut this video right now. I mean, it's just really sad for me being an Indian and watching these and looking at these disgusting comments. Okay. So, with that being said, you guys have a great day. Peace out. Bye bye.